Alright, just to make it easy, I'm going to actually remove this bottom shroud now that we've got everything out of the way. Basically, it just pulls up, and you're just going to kind of turn it on an angle and pull it out. Our next step, we want to go ahead and remove this belt. So I'm just going to hit the tension off of it, pull it off, and get that out of our way. This next part, we got to remove those 3 fasteners on the outside, and then the center bolt for the crankshaft. And you have to use an impact for this. I don't know how you can do it without one. So let me bring in my impact over. Alright, this impact, this bolt here for the crankshaft is a 5/8. Now what we need to do is install a harmonic balancer puller. Now this is a kit that you can buy at O'Reilly, AutoZone, Pat Boys even. And you can even rent them. So it comes with several different types of bolts that you can use. Apologize about the arm cam. And then we're just going to thread that into these holes. I'm going to spray just a little bit of WD-40 in there, just to kind of help lube it up before we install this. Now I've got this puller installed. The most important thing is you want to make sure that all these bolts are level and that they're all pulling straight. You want this thing to pull out as straight as possible. So just make sure that that's set up that way. And then there's a little brass bushing inside there that's got a cone on it. That's got to go in, and it rides inside that hole where the puller bolt or the crankshaft pulley bolt goes into. So, and then I've got my 13/16, and then I'm just going to kind of lightly get it off with the impact. So on my impact, I like to use this ratchet drive. It's just a lot less torque. I don't want to put too much torque on that crankshaft pulley and belt and harmonic balancer. So if you can get it with something like this, I recommend doing that. And I can see it moving, so this will be good. Go. Now we got the harmonic balancer out. Here's that little cone I was telling you about. So that'll just basically fall off. Well, it's got a little snap clip in there. Okay. And here's the kit that you got to use for the harmonic balancer. And then this is the kit that you're going to need to use to install it. And so when you go to put it back on, you just take the factory bolt and that little bearing, and then you put it on here, and then we're just going to impact it on. But now, what we're after, I'll show you that. You can see where that's been leaking a lot. That's what we're after. That's why we had to take everything apart to get to that seal. So I'm going to go over and pull this out. Now I'll take you in for a close-up so you can kind of see where it's been leaking. Right there on the bottom. It's got a pretty good trail underneath it. And that's what we're after. So we will now clean that all up with some brake cleaner, the wire brush, and then get our new seal in there. Alright, so I got the old seal out, and this is our new seal. So I'm going to just show you. We put this old one back on. You can see how how floppy and loose that is. And partly because this is worn out, but also this edge that's around the pulley needs to be cleaned up. So I'm going to put this one on. I'm going to show you the difference in how tight it is. I have a hard time even getting it on. But see, I can't even move it. It's pretty solid. But that's not enough. You want to make sure that you don't have this edge. So you want to take some emery cloth and just kind of grind it up But before you do that, let's grab some brake cleaner just to clean off that oil. Get the oil cleaned off first before you hit it with the emery cloth. What's up?
I just have a question.
You bet.
How old do you have to be to get hired?
Actually, we're hiring people. You gotta be 16.
Yeah.
So I got the emery cloth. This is just a 320 emery cloth. What I'm gonna do is just kind of rub it along there, just to kind of help break up that edge. And if you have a vise, you can just set this pulley in a vise. Makes it a lot easier to hold. I'm just gonna kind of go through and clean this up, clean off that edge, and I'll come back in a couple minutes. So we sand that down, cleaned it off. Want to hit it with some brake clean. Clean that up, get all the debris, dirt off of there. Then also it's important to clean out the bore, so when you go to put it back on the crankshaft, there's nothing in the way. And then when we go to install it, we'll make sure that we clean up the crankshaft where it's going to mount, and then put a little bit of motor oil on here so it'll slide on real nice and easy. Now I've cleaned all that up. What I gotta do now is just take my gasket O-ring seal, and you want it to be facing out, so you want there's a little lip here you can see. So I'm just going to kind of set that in place. But before I do that, I'm going to put a little bit of motor oil on the outside and then also on this inner ring. Reason is so that it goes in really nice and easy. And I'm just going to kind of tap it in with a little dead blow hammer, and I'll get started with that. Alright, got some oil on this. Just going to kind of set it in place. Now you do want it to go in straight, so it's good to put it in as straight as you can before you start hitting on it. Let's try this again. Just want to get it tapped in to get it started. Now we got the new seal in there. Just kind of tapped it in there. It took a little bit of work to get it in straight, but it's pretty much good to go. Now all we got to do is just put everything back together. Okay, so we're all done. Replace the timing cover seal. This job took probably about 4 hours to do. I think it probably, if you take it to a shop, they're gonna charge you probably about $200 or $300 to do this, maybe $400. So hopefully you liked the video. Please rate, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you guys think. We'll see you next video.